So who is Pietere? That's this gentleman. All right. Good morning, Mr. Pietere. You were charged with 2 cases. You were charged with driving while intoxicated. You were also charged with failure to stop and give information. On the DWI, you're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. On your failure to stop and give information, you're facing up to 180 days and or a $2,000 fine. You are currently being held at no bond. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, sir. Okay?
Thank you, Your Honor. Law enforcement officers observed the defendant driving over a median in the road. Law enforcement officers observed the complaining witness Kirtland and witness Taylor screaming at the defendant to stop his vehicle. The law enforcement officers removed the defendant from the vehicle, and they observed the defendant to have strong odor of alcoholic beverage, swaying, and red glossy eyes. The complaining witness stated that the defendant struck her vehicle, that he got out, looked at his hood, but never exchanged information. The defendant then got back in the car and drove off. The damage was approximately $300. Standard field sobriety tests were conducted, a 6 out of 6 on the HGN, and the walk and turn and one leg stand were unable to be performed due to an old foot injury. The DIC was read and breath was collected.
A little bit slower, because she's translating.
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor. The DIC was read and the breath was collected. The test results were a .244 and a .234.
You said that he took off from the accident, right?
Yes,
Did I miss that? How far did he go until they caught up with him? He has an open terroristic threat. That's open, right? Pietere, page 57.
Judge, it just says that the complaining witness and the witness followed the vehicle until he made a complete stop.
And then the cops arrived at that location.
Yes, Your Honor, and that's when they got out of the vehicle and began screaming to get the defendant out of their vehicle to pull over.
I think he has an open terroristic threat from 2001.
2020,
From 2021, he has an open
yes,
terroristic
Judge.
threat. Am I
Yes,
right?
Judge.
Right? Am I right?
And he tells me that he was deported. And that's why he did not come back to court.
He's in jail, Judge. I don't know why he's showing.
Why is it so inactive?
I'm not sure why.
But it is an open case.
No, well, he got picked up. Let me see when he got picked up on. This is here. He got picked up on terroristic threats.
I
417.
So it is open.
Last Thursday, he got picked up on that warrant from 2023.
Okay. I find, Mr. Pietere, that you are a flight risk. I don't know that you got deported. All I know is that you have an open case from 2021. And the only reason that we have you now is because you picked up these 2 other cases. So I'm not going to give you a PR bond. I'm going to set you bonds on both of your cases, but I'm going to tell you now that you are not allowed to drive. I don't know if you're going to bond out, but if you do, you will be signing an affidavit with me today promising me you're not going to drive. If I find that you do, I can have a contempt hearing, and every time you drive, it's a possible punishment of up to 180 days in jail and a $500 fine. Do you understand? You were ordered not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, and I'm going to put a guardian interlock on you. If you get out, you must obtain a portable device that you're going to take with you everywhere you go to prove to me that you're not consuming alcohol. No alcohol, no drugs, random testing, no driving. Guardian interlock. We have given you a lawyer, Mr. Pietere. It is your responsibility to stay in touch with her. If you do bond out, you must stay in touch with her. If you fail to do this again, and if you fail to come back to court, then I will make your bonds high. And then the terroristic threat is right now set at 1501. I'll just leave it as is. And then I don't know if he's going to bond out or not, but if he does, then he will be
Yes, Judge.
required to comply with the bond conditions. I want you to understand, Mr. Pietere, that I'm going to do everything in my power to protect my community at all costs. I just don't want another death on the roads. That's all I'm asking. Okay. And then this gentleman is,
And this is Mr. Portillo Lopez, and he does have an immigration hold, Judge,
yes, Mr. Portillo.
as well.
Is it under remote? Yeah, there it is. Okay, Mr. Lopez, you were charged with driving while intoxicated. You're also charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. As part of your bond conditions, I'm ordering you not to consume alcohol, illegal drugs, or unprescribed controlled medication. If you do not have a Texas driver license and liability insurance, then you are not allowed to drive as well. Mr. Lopez, right now, he's got the immigration detainer, so I don't know if he's going to be able to bond out. So I guess we'll just give you a week or two setting, and then just let us know what you would like to do.
Yes, Judge.
Okay?
I don't know if I don't think he's had probable cause, Judge. I don't see it.
He has.
Oh, yes, okay,
I'm
Judge.
showing that. Let me see.
All right.
Yeah, they found a problem.
Okay.
April 20th. So last night at 4:54 in the morning.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Just read Mr. Garcia right here. Mr. Garcia, Alberto Garcia, he came from getting tested.
Yes.
And I believe he tested positive. Cocaine and
Weed and alcohol.
cocaine, weed, and alcohol. Cocaine, weed, and alcohol.
Is that right, guys? Test positive cocaine? I'm now going to test you like crazy to make sure that you're not using, and then the next time you will stay with me. Do you understand?
I understand.
I'm giving you the ability and the opportunity now to stop on your own. And if you're unable to, then we will do it my way. And I promise you, you're not going to like the way that I do it.
I understand.
Do you understand?
I understand.
You will be testing 2 times a week, so I know that you're not using it. Okay. What was the last name again?
Garcia, Alberto Garcia.
6:30.
I'm also ordering you not to have contact with your sister, not to be in possession of weapons. If I find that you have contact with her, I'm issuing, let me make sure there's a protective order.
The paper that I have, it says
He does say that.
yeah, that I can be 20 feet.
It's already in his conditions, I think, but he's gonna update it. I'm sure.
I don't see a protective order
Or maybe that's not for him, but it's to show me.
the court identifies JV as a protected individual. Not commit family violence or an assault against this person. Commit an act in furtherance of an offense under section 42.072 of the Texas Penal Code, which is the stalking statute. You cannot threaten, harass, use another person to communicate a threat or harassing behavior. You cannot be in possession of a weapon. Harold, how old is he?
21.
Where do you live?
7298 Kingsgate.
I mean, are you living with mom and dad, or where do you live? Does this person also live there as well?
Yes, but we don't have no contact, and I'll be out of work. And after since I already knew about the case that I can't be there, I'm find another place to.
I don't want to put you out on the street, okay? Where else? I'm going to let you speak to Harold to see whether we will take off the residential restriction, okay? But I'm going to protect every person in this county, Mr. Garcia. You have to understand that your mom or whoever in your life probably doesn't have 10 to 20 grand to get you out on a bond if you violate this. So if you go to jail, you will probably be stuck like Chuck in there until this is over with. And it takes damn near 9 months just to get a 911 tape. Do you understand?
I understand, sir.
So make wise decisions, because you get no more warnings from me. If he has nowhere else to go, I don't want to put him out on the street, or he can go back to the house with mom. But I just don't want him having contact with sister, you know, and I don't want you to pick up any new cases. You're on bond for felony now. They may very well revoke that bond as it is. Like you picking up this new case.
You should talk 2 minutes, Judge, I think.
Take your time. Just, if you need it, we'll do it.
Yes.
But you need to sign this order for protection before you leave. Okay? Can you file no contact, no weapons, please? All right, good morning, Mr. Greathouse. Looks like you have worked out an agreement where they're offering you time served on DWI. You need to understand that this is going to go on your record. It will be there for the rest of your life. Do you have a CDL? Is this going to suspend CDL? You know, and like we talked about earlier, when you have a CDL, you're held at a higher standard to everyone else in this world. Because of that, you drive bigger machines, more dangerous, heavier weight. So if you get into an accident, it's so much worse. So the other thing that you need to understand, you pick up another DWI, you can lose that CDL for life. A second DWI conviction is a lifetime suspension of that CDL. You understand? You give up a lot of rights by entering into this agreement. You give up the right to a trial, right to compel witnesses to testify on behalf, confront and cross-examine your accusers. If you're not a citizen, there are possible immigration consequences. You can be deported, excluded from the country, denied naturalization. You give up the right to appeal once you accept this agreement. There's no turning back. You can never, it'll go on your record. It'll be there forever. Is this what you want to do?
Yes, sir.
How do you plead to the offense of driving while intoxicated? Guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
I'm going to find you guilty. I'm going to follow the agreement. It's 3 days in jail. Credit for the 2 days that you've done. You know, the idea is that we all make mistakes, right? But the idea is that you don't continue to make mistakes that you endanger other people's lives. That's why we have greater sentences. That's why we have prisons. That's why we have jails, because some people just don't get it. Do you have to go to prison to learn? You know, it's a rhetorical question. It's not, but you don't have to answer. I'm just telling you, that's why we had enhanced punishments, why we do longer jail sentences, because some people just don't get it. I mean, really, if you want to get lit, great. Take an Uber, $40, $50 it could have cost you. One button. I hope that you use it in the future. I also have to suspend your license. I'm going to do it for 90 days. That is the minimum.
Thank you, Judge.
Just be careful, man. It's not hard, right? Just, you know, if you're going to go out and get lit, if you do it, just really. How do you think? Did you say guilty?
You did, Judge.
All right, I'm going to find you guilty. I'm going to follow the agreement. The other thing is this, the reason I'm telling you about the mistake is because your lawyer is asking me to waive the fee for you. Is this above a 0.15 or no? No, it's not. Let me see. This is a $3,000 surcharge that you would normally be paying on top of this. All the other stuff that you're doing now. I'm going to waive it for you now.
Thank you, Judge.
But if you come back with another DWI, it is a $6,000 surcharge that tacks onto you. Do you understand?
Sir,
All right, good luck to you.
And Judge, I would just submit to the court, he has taken this seriously. He's done a lot. I think he's made the start of a good recovery. So I just would submit.
That's great. But the problem is that time heals all wounds. It's fresh in you now. What's going to happen in 20 years? Are you still going to remember this in 20 years when you go out on a date and you're just, that's the rub. Are you going to remember this in 20 years? Are you going to remember this in 30 years when there's a death in the family, something that you can't overcome, and you go out and you just get blitzed? You know, that's the true thing. That's what it's about, you know? And for what it's worth, you're doing great. Just keep it up.
I'm gonna remember you. You're like that father that I never had. That was every time I came in here.
And that's what we do, you know? Like, I've got 4 great kids at home, and then I've got another 2,000 kids here. Some grow up and do great. Some kids, I got to sit there and freaking, you know?
Thank you, son.
Just,
Thank you, Judge. Maybe excuse me.
thanks.